Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the HBCU Gameday Super Show. We are bringing all of our friends from the HBCU Metaverse as we get ready for the Celebration Bowl. It's happening on Saturday. It's FAMU, it's Howard. We are ready to talk about it all afternoon long, or at least as long as the show is interesting. Then we'll see where things go. We welcome all your comments in the comment section, so let us know what's going on, what you think. We'll interact with you throughout the show. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm Tolly Carr, Atlanta, HBCU Gameday Studios. Right here to my right is Stephen J. Gaither. Hey, without Stephen, there is no HBCU Gameday. He's the founder. What's up, brother?
What's going on, CC?
All right, our first super guest. She has a hard out, so we got to bring her in. You know her from HBCU Nightly. It is Erica Lee.
Hi, friends. Hi.
What's going on?
Nothing. I'm happy to be here. So much Bison spirit in the city. I'm very excited.
Oh, you're going for Howard. I had no idea.
Yes, of course.
I'm glad you could fit us in your schedule.
All right, so tell us why is Howard going to win this game on Saturday? You do believe Howard is going to win?
I absolutely believe Howard's going to win. I think we had the depth. I think we have the skill set. I think we've been battle tested over the course of the season. I absolutely feel like we're being cast as the underdogs, and
the MEAC wins every year.
I know, but for whatever
every year
reason,
is the underdog.
Every year they say
Howard,
we're not going to win.
the underdog, yes.
And I think there's like a zeal on the team. There's like a energy there that I think is really, really cool to see. And seeing how they played against Morgan, how they played against Central and other MEAC opponents, I feel like we have a really good chance at pulling it out tomorrow.
All right, so one of the big things, and we just have a short time with you, we always want to support people who are in the HBCU space. I don't view competition. Look, we're all trying to uplift, to give positive, I don't want to say negative, good, bad, and ugly of what's going on. We just keep it 100 in the HBCU space. Tell us about what you do at HBCU Nightly. You work with this guy named Josh that we kind of know a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. No, it's been a lot of fun working with HBCU Nightly. I kind of came on board probably last fall of 22, as his co-host, and so we've just been rocking and rolling, trying to really expand all of the really cool things that we do in the HBCU sports space. I think we work well with a lot of different other outlets, and the show is growing by leaps and bounds. I'm sure a lot of people saw the Buddy Pugh interview last week, which was a lot of fun. I was just telling someone I did not know he was like that.
No, Buddy
I loved
Pugh
his energy.
is like that.
Yeah, his
He
energy
might be
is
the
great.
originator of like that.
Yeah, no, I mean
He is him.
He is definitely him. He was candid. He was forthcoming, and it was a lot of fun interviewing him.
Steve, I hear she has what is it special about Erica we hear?
So, shout out to our friend from Morgan State, Mr. Banks, who is here in spirit. He seems to bring out the beast mode in Erica. Morgan State, he says that they're Howard's rival, and
Morgan is not our rival.
oh, she looked right into the camera on that
I
one.
promise you, not our rival.
But so he gets her fired up, and so every week they do their picks, and she does the Bison cheer. So give us the Bison cheer, and then we'll talk about why I pick against you guys all the time, and you kind of got on me. But.
Indeed. So most people know HU, but one of our favorite cheers is the Bison cheer, and it goes BISON, go Bison, and that's one of our favorite cheers that we love to do. So you'll hear that tomorrow, all game, I promise.
That's so Howard.
I love it. The VP is going to be here tomorrow.
She is.
And the second gentleman, is that how we say it?
I think is what they
My
call
soror VP, so very excited. Yeah.
All right.
from the Alpha.
From Alpha Chapter, yeah.
Well,
She is Alpha Chapter.
What type of energy is that going to bring tomorrow? Additional energy.
Well, I hope it doesn't get the guys off their game. That's a lot of swirl when you have someone from the White House coming, Secret Service. I ask everyone to get to the game early. You do not want to mess with Secret Service. No. Our Hampton Institute friends found that out the hard way a couple years ago. So when it says be there by 9 or 10, you should be there by 9 or 10.
Man,
I'm just saying.
again, some more of what Erica brings to the space, because Howard, everybody knows they're an academic school, and but they've been winning some championships, but they still they're quiet on the athletic front. And so Erica is like one of the
quiet. Erica, are you going to take that?
So I think what's been interesting is there's myself and a couple other folks who I've been trying to really showcase and trumpet Howard athletics, because we've had a lot of successes in the last, I think, 10 years, to be honest, starting with women's basketball, volleyball, softball, tennis, women's soccer, won the SWAC championship several times when we played in the SWAC. People forget that. So swimming, golf, I mean, we've really kind of made that investment, and people don't think that, Howard is into athletics, but I think the products on the field for the last, I'd say 10 years have betrayed that criticism. So to see the revenue sports kind of come into their own, like basketball, men's basketball, and football has been like kind of the icing on the cake.
Take that, Steve. You're quiet on athletics.
No, Howard, they're like that.
Don't be afraid to give it to
They're
me.
They're like that good-looking guy who has like all of the money, all of this stuff, but he can't play ball. So it's like, okay, it's fun to pick at him because he can't play ball.
But now he can play ball.
Now he's learned how to play
He
ball.
can play ball.
It's a different ball game.
And I don't think we're as loud about it. I think there was some, frustration amongst FAMU fans in the last couple of weeks because they felt like there was no buzz about the game and they couldn't go back and forth with us. Like, we don't do all that. We're not going to trash talk, but if we win tomorrow, which I think we will,
then we'll hear
you will hear it. I
Then
promise.
we will hear it. All right, I know you got to roll out of here. You got a busy week. What is your favorite part of the week so far of the celebration? We haven't got to the game yet, but what's been your favorite part of the week?
Got here yesterday and just like spending time with my friends in this big moment. And like we were just at Pascal's a little earlier, and I saw so many.
Didn't bring us a plate.
Listen, we didn't get a plate yet either. Seeing the football parents that I've grown to know over the last 2 seasons, meeting Andrew Young just 30 minutes ago. Just seeing that Bison energy here in Atlanta. They don't think we're coming, but we're here. We're already here. And most people kind of take it for granted that FAMU kind of was tracking for this game the whole season. So they've had months to kind of pull themselves together for plans. Central thought they were tracking for this game.
They did think they were there.
They did.
Maybe Josh would be here if they were here, but they sent the person whose team is here.
I mean, we had maybe about 2.5, 3 weeks to kind of get tickets sold, get hotel, get travel, and things like that. And I think you'll see that we did okay. So I'm very excited about it.
All right, Erica Lee, before you go, let people know how they can follow you, how they can catch up with you.
So you can follow me at ERLEE0217 on Twitter and Instagram. You can also catch me every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. on HBCU Nightly. I'm the co-host, and we have a lot of fun. So please follow at HBCU Nightly, follow me on my handles, and come watch me go at it in the Twitter space.
All right. Good luck to your Bison tomorrow. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
Right.
Go Bison.
A lot of fun. She's leaving. The Super Friends show continues. So, guys, in the back, we got to queue up our next guest. Get the guy with the big fro. Can you do that? Can you get the guy with the big fro? We're going to come in and reveal him here in a second. Thank you so much, Erica. All right, Steve, we heard from Erica. Are you buying her take on the Bison for Saturday?
I mean, I get it. I mean, obviously, they are, they're the defending co-champs, and they got a lot of heat about that. If she had a little more time, we probably talked about that co-champ title last year. But, they set their goals to be here back when we sent our guys up north to cover them, Kobe and all of those guys. And so, they're here now, and who's to say? Every year we think we know, and then we don't know.
All right, before we reveal our next guest, let me know, Miles in the back. Miles, our executive producer, director. Did we get all the hair in the shot? Are we clear? We're good to go. He's a little, well, come fix it, Miles. Miles said our guest is a little cut off, so we're going, because our guest, man, he brings it. Not only with his knowledge and information, he brings it with the hairstyle. Like, we're going to talk about that because I remember when he started growing it. I've probably given it away. All right, here's our guest, our good friend of the show, Dr. Kinata Caville. You see why we had to frame him up? We had to frame him up. It started in the pandemic.
Fear the fro.
Doc, I had my Lionel Jefferson fro going during the pandemic. I let mine go, but you fell in love with yours, man.
Yeah, it fit the cause. As a professor, I think it was easy to justify that this is my professor look, academic look, and it seems to working out well. But you're right, the power's in there.
It's the Black Einstein here, folks, inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Dr. Kinata Caville. Doc, we see each other virtually so much. It's so good to see you in person, man, and thanks for coming by.
It's my pleasure. It's my honor. I've been looking forward to the opportunity to be in the studio where the magic happens, and I've been following up like behind the scenes, as you said, about the studio, all the updates, and when things are coming. So it's good to be here, particularly with you two.
All right, Doc, give us your take. You don't have a dog in the fight. Your dog lost.
Yeah.
Your dog didn't make it.
Thanks for the reminder. He just ran over the dog. It was in the street.
And it was a wet dog, too, by the time it was all over with. As we all were who were there, but yes.
All right, very true.
We got Howard and Prairie View. I'm sorry. We were talking about the dog.
I would have took that. I would have took Prairie View.
We were talking about the dog.
What are you talking about? Just rub it in?
I brought your dog up. Your dog didn't make it. Howard and FAMU.
Right.
Your take there.
I have to go with FAMU. Just everything, but, we've seen this dog and pony show for the last 2 years, it seems like, with Jackson State. And somehow the MEAC does the magic and gets it done, no matter the record coming in. And in a lot of ways, it's similar to the 6-5 team that came in with South Carolina State 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. But it seems something about these Rattlers. They are very talented, on defense. Offensively, they're really solid. So it's just hard for me to look at many ways where the Rattlers can't find a way to get it done.
Yeah, man. I feel like if FAMU doesn't get it this year, I almost feel like the SWAC is snake bitten. I just don't know. I mean, they are 11-1.
It's a good way to put it.
They're playing a 6-5 team, which again we've seen before. There was Coach Buddy Pugh, who obviously already was a legend before he got to Atlanta. Coach Scott still writing his legacy, but he's got Howard, won their second championship in a row. First one was a co-win, their fifth overall, I think, as a program in 120 plus years that they've been playing. So, I think it's not
a huge average.
Yeah, that's it. That's kind of where the talk is. And then you got FAMU, Willie Simmons. I mean, I think everybody's been waiting for FAMU to get here since the Celebration Bowl was announced, and every year they find a way to slide their way out of it. Now they're here.
Yeah, it's a good point when you look at the trajectory of the Florida A&M Rattlers. And a lot of people, much like Buddy Pugh, obviously much younger with Coach Willie Simmons, they were waiting for his arrival. And he had been on the cusp of the door when he was at Prairie View, for that matter. Obviously, he just missed it by a year with Alcorn State when the Celebration Bowl started in 2018. And then that was the first year that he was over at Prairie View. That first year, he missed it. Grambling was the representative in that shootout they had in the State Fair Classic, taking people back a little bit. And then he takes his ball and game over to FAMU and can't quite get it done in the MEAC. And he's over here in the SWAC first couple of years, can't get it done. He's got over that hurdle in terms of a conference championship as a head coach, and now can he get that national championship?
All right, let's go to the listeners, the viewers here. We got some South Carolina State alumni in the house. Wishing good luck to both teams because they got their championship already. Our guy S-Class Entertainment looks like he's going with FAMU, and he also says, if my Black African American Studies professor doesn't have natural hair, I can't trust him. So, Doc, you're getting the seal of approval, the authenticity there. Real quick before we get back into the game, tell us about your show, Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Dr. Kinata Caville.
I appreciate that opportunity. We are on YouTube, on demand. You can catch us live on Facebook. That's every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 o'clock, and that is Central Standard Time for all the folks over here in the East Coast. That's 7 o'clock for you all. And during the fall, we do a Sunday edition at 9 o'clock Central as well.
And you've done like 11 shows, right?
Yeah, we're approaching 500 shows, and we're trying to look at, what do we do maybe special. Also, will there be a retirement coming?
A retirement for who? For you?
Yeah, it might switch it and get out of the game. You know, other opportunities come.
Are we breaking news here?
Yeah,
Doc,
that's breaking. So we'll see.
There was some other breaking news I wanted to talk to you about, but hey, this works too.
Yeah, and at this point, that one hasn't broke yet, so we're safe. We'll stay with this one here. I'll certainly make sure when it breaks, if it happens to be while I'm here, I'll rush back in here and be like, hey, I got something for y'all. But yeah, 500 might be the final one. We'll see. See what the people say.
Man, for the whole show or just Doc?
For me, for sure. We'll see what the other team players, if they want to carry on. But
oh my God,
great point.
Did they know? Did they know?
No,
that?
this is the first time they're hearing this.
Breaking.
You said breaking news. You wanted something good.
We got some of your team members in the back. They might be pacing back there now. Like, what? We ain't doing the show. Like, what's happening?
Up there with the LeBron jersey.
We have to frame and sign that. Well, look, man.
Maybe y'all can draft me. I can fly in and do a show every once a week. I really think big time. Every once in a while, I'll do like some of the other folks. Just come in and do a show once a month.
You know, that is the key.
I don't know if we can afford you, Doc. You know,
that is the plan, man. Just be a contributor. Like, let
There you
everybody
go.
else
we can
worry
negotiate.
about.
It's not that bad.
Let everybody else worry about the booking and everything that comes along with executing the show.
There you go.
You're thinking along the right lines.
Thank you.
Man, Doc, what would it mean, if anything? I mean, you get your check, right? But if the SWAC were to go ahead and win this, like Grambling did a few years ago, what would this mean for the Southwestern Athletic Conference to get another dub in the Celebration Bowl?
I think it would be huge, and it's certainly significant. And we shouldn't hide this from that. You know, a lot of people have ribbed the SWAC, rightfully so, because they haven't been able to get it done. And then you really think about after expansion of the conference with FAMU and Bethune-Cookman, the 12 teams, a lot of people deemed it the super conference. In every way except for maybe the Celebration Bowl, that could be argued as the case. So to put the final stamp on it, to close it out 3 years after expansion, this would be the first start. So I think it's extremely important, particularly when you start getting up on some of these deals that are coming up, the end of some of these television contracts. I think it becomes significant and huge moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. You know, one of the first comments that we had was that the MEAC is the underdog, and I guess that's kind of been been the narrative going in. But the MEAC has 6 of the 7 games. I know I've been to all of them, and I think you've been to all of them as well. Yes. Minus those A&T teams, I guess the last 2 years it seemed for sure that the SWAC team has had the best team. What do you make of just that the MEAC adopting an underdog mentality, even though they have dominated this game?
I think it serves their purpose in a lot of ways. Obviously, they've been an underdog conference because everybody wants to bury and kill them. So if you can't get more underdog than that, I'm not sure if it makes sense. And then I think it's easier to push the narrative of being the underdog and come out facing that way. If you lose, you're safe because you're like, hey, we weren't supposed to lose. And if you win, you get to point the finger and say, I told you.
Yeah, a little playing with house money there. All right, let's call an audible here. Steve, I want you to go to the back. Okay. I need you to get our guy that's with Dr. Caville. I think we might have to have a Dr. Phil session here and have a little counseling because Doc just came in and go ahead, Scoot, go get this guy. We are going to have to talk because Dr. Kinata Caville just broke a little news here on HBCU Gameday, the Super Show here on the Friday. He's already passed the 400 episode mark on Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Dr. Kinata Caville. There you go. I'm directing traffic and talking. He says when he gets to episode 500, he's thinking about hanging it up, retiring the microphone. Come on in. You're not on camera yet. Come on in. We're going to have a little counseling
He's
session.
coaching, too.
I mean, Jesus, I didn't think we were breaking this level of news here. All right, come on, wide shot. Here we go. Yeah. It's Charles Bishop. It's my guy Chuck. Hey. You might know us, our little tag team from Pepsi SWAC Gameday.
I love it.
I hope I didn't break up the team here. I didn't mean to take Chuck. I mean, Chuck will take any check he can get. You know that, Doc.
Correct. So I'm mad. Chuck will tell you, Charles will tell you, I actually push him out there. I love to see him take his next step. So I can break that as well on TV. No, it's nothing to do with Charles, nor Mike, who happens to always be on assignment. And he's actually here in Atlanta. I can break that as well. He's all this way, so no telling what we might get into.
All right, Chuck, you heard it when the rest of America heard it. Doc's thinking about hanging it up, man.
Yeah, I heard that. I said, wow. I was like, yeah, breaking news. I looked and I was like, wait, did I hear that again? I was like, oh, they're still talking about it. Okay, this is real.
All right, Chuck, are you going to? Is it going to be inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Charles Bishop? You know, because Doc mastered the branding game. He put his name in the show.
Yeah.
This could open up an opportunity for it to be inside the HBCU Sports Lab.
Sure.
Chuck.
And Doc has always pushed the envelope in terms of being innovative and things of that nature. So, yeah, I would happily, take the mantle and see where I could take, inside the HBCU Sports Lab, because it is, as we've seen with the various interviews, people know Doc. They know the brand that is the inside the HBCU Sports Lab brand. So that would be an awesome undertaking.
I want to call.
Yeah. All right.
I need to call some people, man. I need to call my mama. Just talk about this. Wow. All right, let's talk about the game here. Chuck, we got FAMU. We got Howard. You and I have talked about this on Pepsi SWAC Game Day a lot, that we knew FAMU was coming. We talked a little bit about Howard in our last episode.
Yeah.
You've had some time to think about it the last couple of weeks. What do you think we'll see out there tomorrow?
Yeah, I think this is a game where I would say FAMU is the favorite. They come in 11-1, and I've said this a lot. They remind me so much of Jackson State the past 2 years in terms of an explosive offense, very, very stout defense. But I don't know what happens here in the Celebration Bowl. So I can't discount Howard because they come in with that MEAC big chip on their shoulder and things of that nature. And, they just, they play a brand of football that sometimes is difficult for whatever reason once we get in this position.
The Serious Six comes to Atlanta with the MEAC, and they just find a way to turn things upside down for the SWAC. I have a theory. I have a hypothesis here. The game is so different because you have all the TV timeouts, which is fairly normal. But then it feels like it gets extended because you got the T-shirt cannon, you got check presentations, you got, do we do Dr. Pepper? Do we give away scholarships to that?
No, I hadn't seen that part
I was watching this game. This kid from North Carolina went to a community college and got like $1 million or $100,000 from Dr. Pepper. I was like, he could buy the whole school for $100,000. But anyway, there's so many things that happen during the game that it's not a normal game. It's like small little increments of action, break, small little increments of action. If you can just do one thing to throw the other team off of their rhythm, the cadence of the game and the execution of game day is going to throw them off a little more as well. You're a professor. Does my hypothesis hold any water, Doc?
I believe so. I agree with that. In addition, I would add the week leading up to it is unlike anything else they have planned. Even with the SWAC and the SWAC championship game, does not have as many media requests and things of the nature. As you know, Radio Row, they have to go through that. They have to do their press conference, their walkthrough in terms of that. And all through the week. And then they have their other responsibilities where they go out in the city. They have the first meet and greet where they come in Wednesday night. And then on Thursday have the champions dinner. And so it's a lot of activities where you're trying to get them to focus on the game. That can throw any team off, to your point. And those things, as you get into the game and you're thrown off a little bit, they can really slide.
Yeah, it's easy to lose
focus.
Yeah. It's easy to lose a lot because during that game, it was illustrated so much by Jackson State. Because it was like, all right, heavy favorite. And then during those games, the South Carolina State game, you're like, all right, they're going to get it together. And you look up and you're like, oh, snap, it's late third quarter.
Right.
They're not getting it together.
Yeah.
It is just such a unique game that until I think you've been here, a couple times, you just can't get used to it and accustomed to it. And then with the heavy player turnover, even if you have been, you might have a group, a set of guys that just haven't been here. And then they got to, kind of learn for themselves, like what's going on. And by the time you kind of get the sense and feel for it, it's midway through the third quarter.
Very
Absolutely
much so.
correct.
Yeah, different ebb and flow to that game. And to your point, like you said with South Carolina State, I know I kept looking at the clock. I was like, okay, well, it'll kick in at some point, and it never kicked. And then you looked up, it's like, oh my God, it really happened. Yeah, it's a
because no one gave
experience.
South Carolina State a chance at all.
Yeah,
And even in the first half, they didn't look like they were going to do anything.
Right.
Turnovers, pressure. Another theory I have, Doc, when we analyze and talk about these games, look, we don't have that pro football focused score for the linemen, and we just think, okay, they're going to play, and we concentrate on the skill players, and we really don't get to break down and get all that information out there about the defensive line and the offensive line. There is disparity amongst talent, amongst scheme, and those guys impact the game a lot of times more than the skill players. But they're not always in the conversation. So I think, as media, if we're not giving that information to fans and it's not readily available as, Georgia and Alabama and all that, you just think, okay, two lines are going to show up, that they're going to balance each other out. They're going to cancel each other out. But, man, one line can disrupt and change the whole game when they get that advantage.
Really is where I focus on this particular game, but all games is that line play. And in this particular game, what I'm looking at to really tell us the tale of the tape for me is the ability of Howard University to run the ball.
Yeah.
Can they run the ball effectively in this matchup? We've seen some games where they run the ball big time and get over 200 yards, and they do it by committee. So who can get hot or the variation styles that they run the ball. But you're talking about a potent defensive front. Unlike what we've seen with Jackson State where there was some distractions, as you talked about, the FAMU team seems a little bit focused. Now, you got one more night, so we'll see what that means. So hold
Did they make it through that Rod Wave concert? Is that already?
Yeah.
We got Winterfest tonight. 50 years of hip-hop in Atlanta. So, don't sneak over to the concert, guys.
Exactly. So you
that.
got that one more night. If you can hold them tight, hold the horses back, I'm really intrigued about the defensive front seven of FAMU. Really nice on the back end as well, but particularly what that pressure can do. And they're so deep. They rotate guys. So you can't expect to play on the thing that they might get tired in the contest. Even that tends not to be the case with all the timeouts. But imagine the ability to rotate the talent they do on that defensive front. It's going to be challenging to see Howard to be effective running the ball. But I think that's the focus of this game. And as you said, that means the big people up front. Some talk about the big uglies. How will they collide? The other thing that's interesting, even though the FAMU has been in the SWAC for 3 years, they come out of that MEAC model. You have a coach that had experience in the MEAC model, so he's recruited towards that. And I think what you're going to see evolution is you're going to see more SWAC teams play up that to well, which is going to make it better in terms of the SWAC MEAC challenge, which is, again, why I said this one is so important.
And Doc, you talked about it one more night. I just want to remind the players from both sides, this is not the Magic City Classic, okay? This is the Celebration Bowl. The Magic City Classic takes place in Birmingham. If you participate in the Magic City Classic in Atlanta, it's going to be a different set of circumstances.
It's a different one.
That's a different party, exactly.
Your mind will not be on the case.
You'll be trying to get back to the Magic City Classic, Atlanta style.
Exactly.
Yes. All right. If you're just tuning in, Dr. Kinata Caville just rolled up in here, dropped the bomb on the set, and said when he gets to episode 500 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Dr. Kinata Caville, he is seriously considering retiring from the show. His co-host, Chuck, is in the back like, what the hell did he just say? He had no idea.
Right.
And if you look at Chuck, Chuck still looks a little flustered.
I'm like, wow, like really, he really said that. Oh, man.
So I don't know. That's that. Doc, I appreciate you breaking it, man. But let me say this. I don't think there's anybody in the space who has shown more dedication to putting out content. You're talking about 2 times a week, sometimes 3 times a week, talking about HBCU sports and really spreading the wealth, not just football, and really, giving flowers to everyone. And look, it can be a struggle plate in terms of trying to get the exposure, trying to get the messaging out, consistent about your brand in HBCU sports. And the media landscape is It's not a black and white thing. You know, FCS Division II, it's not as robust because more eyeballs, more dollars, more people's effort goes into FBS coverage. It just is what it is. But you guys have truly been dedicated inside the HBCU landscape. Over 400 episodes. I don't know what I've done in my life 400 times, but I don't know. Eat 400 times. But really congratulations to you guys on the great work that you've done throughout the years.
Much love and respect. It's really been a partnership amongst the three of us. We rotate and even had Ryan McGinty when we started this thing off, basically doing
Y'all started with
radio.
Ryan?
Ryan McGinty,
Wow.
a little history there.
Wow.
He was the original Charles Bishop, and then Charles Bishop heard us on the show in
Ryan,
Houston.
get up. He got Ryan up out of there.
Yeah. Well, he took the job in the MEAC.
That's right.
As
That's
the
right.
associate commissioner, as we go back to him, and I pushed him out the door. I said, you got to take that opportunity. And so that, and every once in a while when we hit these markers, 100, 200, he comes back on the show and kind of tells that history because we like to keep up with it.
So the first show was when? Your first episode was when?
When we really started streaming full time in the capacity that people see us now was basically right around COVID. COVID was the offshoot, really. But before that, we've done a couple of other in the can that I really don't count towards this 500, if you would, where we started just doing radio, traditional radio, as you know, with your backdrop, with the legend, Ralph Cooper, who I always like to shout out and give him a credit. And at that point, it was just me, and I came in and did a poll ranking. We did the mid-major, major division poll, Division II NAIA versus Division I. Because as you know, everybody was doing BCSN. There was a lot of complaints out there in the marketplace about the two. So I said, branding, marketing, let me separate the two, and that's kind of the history of the story where it blew off. So.
All right, before we let you guys get out of here, and back in the back, just we got more super friends, so get somebody in the bullpen back there.
I love it.
The SWAC West has had a lot of coaching changes here.
Yeah.
Some firings, some hiring, some maybe hirings. I'll start with a college classmate of mine, Terrence Graves, played at Winston-Salem State under Pete Richardson.
Look at that.
Pete Richardson is lore. He is canon in the Southern football history, but he was coaching at Winston-Salem State prior to that. So let's give the Rams a little kudos. Terrence was a strong safety, a beast on the field. And really is now associated with the SWAC more than the CIAA because of the amount of time he's been coaching there. It feels like he played in the SWAC. Right. He gets the job at Southern. So, guys, that kind of bucked that trend of let's get some NFL guys, let's get some splash guys. And this is not to take away from Terrence, but Terrence represents some of those guys that, you know, maybe got leapfrogged, you know, when you hired some of those higher profile names, if you will. What did you guys think of the hiring there at Southern?
Well, for me, I mean, and I was joking with Doc, it's like if you've touched the hem of Pete Richardson's garment, you're blessed. So he has that blessing. But when you talk about a lifer within the conference, in terms of his work at Grambling, his work at Southern, he's been all over. Tremendous skill set. I think he's going to bring a dynamic to Southern that they're going to like, and I'm really excited to see what he can do to put that Southern brand back out in the forefront, because that is a nation, Jaguar Nation, that is, you know, that they want a winner, and you saw what kind of happened after just a year and a half maybe. So you know, and that is a proud fan base. So I'm really interested to see what Southern does.
Let me say first, congratulations to Terrence Graves. As you said, he's toiled in the soil, and now his fruit and it's coming to boil. But when I first seen it, I'll be very frank with you, I did not believe it. I went and instantly, Stephon Robinson, that's over at Texas Southern University, texted a group of us that they had moved forward and this was out, and had the little press release, had his picture there, but it was on Facebook. And so you know how things go on Facebook.
Did somebody Photoshop this?
Right. Exactly was my thoughts. And so I went first and went to Southern's page, didn't see any indication of press release, and they were saying it was the next day. So I was like, and then I went to the Twitter of their official Twitter account, nothing there. So I instantly text back and I said, is this real? And I forgot Stephon is connected in Southern. He worked there at one time. He said, yes, somebody that's in knowledge within the program said this is real, and that's when I was like, wow. So I was shocked. I'll be frank with you, I was shocked. I knew they had a couple other folks in interest. They had interviewed Berry. Chennis Berry was a hot name. Everybody who didn't interview Chennis Berry.
Yeah.
And I knew there was a thing about timing. Could they get past the length they need to do to get things done, including Texas Southern and South Carolina State? To their credit, they pushed forward faster than everybody else, locked it down and got him in, and then it was wide open in terms of who was going to get their opportunity at Southern.
All right, we got some more. Grambling promised us 7 to 10 days to get a coach.
Supposed to be announcing tomorrow.
Ooh.
Really?
That's what I'm hearing.
All right. Well, they only took about 15 days. So. Any more news you want to break? Any more?
I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
I would say that if I knew, but you know me, I'm going to be straightforward with what I don't know. But it's my understanding that they will have announcement tomorrow, Sunday.
Are they gonna
Well,
announce
I'm
it?
sorry, Sunday or Monday.
All
Sunday
right,
or Monday.
if they're smart, I would send it in to Tiffany and Jay during the broadcast.
Get a
You're not
big
going to have,
blast
you're
on
gonna
it,
have
yeah.
a big audience right there.
That's
Take
a great
advantage
point.
of
That's
it.
a great point.
Let me text
Yeah, that's
the VP over
nice
there.
branding.
Don't stream it on Facebook while the Celebration Bowl is going on. Ain't nobody going to see it, okay? Don't do that. Use the Celebration Bowl to your advantage. The only SWAC winner of the Celebration Bowl has a new coach.
Yes.
You can, look, I'd phone in. Let's have a halftime exclusive right now. Talk to our coach.
Brilliant.
So, Doc, what type of challenges will this coach face at Grambling? Because they have not been hesitant to move on from people in the last couple of years. Is you think whoever this is going to come in with the all right now, right
The
out
blessing, that's going to be be determined in terms of who it is. As you talk about Southern and him on the garment, that works out. But, you know, the last coach had touched more than just the hem. And you see how quick that love affair lasted. So between Grambling and Southern, let's be frank, their expectations is everything to come down is through the roof. Everything comes down to the Bayou Classic to play for a championship. And they want badly to get over. Southern wants to get over there for their first time, and Grambling wants to get back.
Yeah.
So that's the expectation, and that's high up there. The point is other folks have expectations as well, just across the state line in Texas.
Don't I say that, Chuck?
Every
Everybody
time.
in the SWAC West expects to win it.
Exactly.
in it.
Exactly.
So it's that much more challenging, and you talk about week to week in the SWAC, that your ability to be a consistent winner, I just don't think that you can get back to the yesteryears when you had the top 3, top 4 they like to talk
the
about.
big
it.
three,
I think those days are gone. So I think they're going to have more issues than problems no matter who they get. Let me just be frank with that.
All right, one last little vacancy there. Is it still a vacancy? It has been reported that Texas Southern is very interested in
I like the
hiring
way you put that.
Fred
like
McNair from Alcorn State University. Is there any do you know of any press conferences that are scheduled? Any announcements?
No, I don't know any press conference,
Okay.
but I can tell you this, that Texas Southern University is having a emergency board meeting that they did, and it's going on now. So based on what comes out of that, we should learn pretty quickly where the head coaching job is going. So what people don't necessarily know as these push things come out, some of them just doing what media does, is trying to get their name out there and get the likes and tweets. But a lot of them have some credible sources. But what happens is they'll get the sources that they'll say this candidate is top 2 or 3, a leading candidate, or this is the person that somebody would want. So that even if the AD, VP of Athletics, wants the individual, people fail to realize that in our system, that has to go to the president, and it needs to be approved by the president and chancellors. They're not always on the same page. Oftentimes they are, which is good. But even that trumps that, it has to go to the board, which we see Southern, Texas Southern, Alabama State, to name just a few of them. And oftentimes there are folks on the board do not necessarily seem the same way as the president or the AD. We can argue whether that's right or wrong, but I'm just telling you the way it goes. And if they're not on the same page, you can have a leading candidate. And we've seen this with presidents and chancellors as well being hired, or ADs. And next thing you know, you come out of Board of Regents, and there's a totally different name on the block, and we're all talking about what happened.
See, this is the great thing about being on this show. You literally learn the process. It is like a classroom sort of setting where you learn the process of how coaches actually go through this process of getting hired.
Right.
So you
or
really,
not getting hired.
or not getting hired.
That's
You really do appreciate just being in this space and learning so much beyond just the athletics part, but the business part, the sports business part.
And quickly, let's not forget that you do have another team. If it's the person that we're kind of sticking out there, let's put it out there in terms of Fred McNair, Alcorn State. It's not like they can't make a counteroffer, and we've seen and heard that. Exactly. So you have that component out there until somebody signs the dotted line, wherever that place may be, an extension or a new job. It's not a done deal until their name's on that line.
No, and Coach McNair is a gentle giant. I think that's a good way to describe him. But from our stories in the past, there's been a little friction there with some ADs in the past. He's not afraid to flex.
Correct.
He's not afraid to flex and say,
flex.
all right,
this is not right.
This is how it's going to go down if you want me to stay here.
That's right.
Could he? Thought experiment, because nothing is official. If he were to become the Texas Southern head coach, could he be the guy that answers the question of why can't Texas Southern, located in the state of Texas, in Houston, Texas, with all these players around them, win ball games? Could he be that answer?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it would be a game changer for Texas Southern because of the way he has consistently come into the Houston market and brought kids back over to Alcorn. So to actually be in Houston, and there's a lot of talent, and not just Houston, but Houston, but East Texas, and his ability to go into small towns and mine that talent, it'll be a game changer.
What's that one town? Katy? Is it Katy?
Katy,
Texas.
God, everybody in the SEC, Katy, Texas.
Yep. North Shore.
And
we ain't even got in Duncanville,
yeah, we haven't
Dallas,
gone up to Dallas
and
yet.
East Texas in the small cities. And the thing that would be tremendous about Fred McNair or even a Rob Barbie that's at Texas Southern, whose name's been out there in the mix, is that they have had the ability to recruit in the state of Texas small towns in terms of what that looks like. To give you a specific example, Alcorn's championship before Willie Simmons left to go to Prairie View, tying this all together, was John Gibbs Jr.
Yes, indeed.
Guess where he was from? The quarterback that led him to that championship when Willie Simmons was the offensive coordinator and all that went down. It was Houston. Houston, Texas.
Yeah. There it is. There it is. All right, it's going to be interesting. Before we go, before you guys go, you're watching the HBCU Game Day Super Show here. We're just talking about the Celebration Bowl, all things football, on a Friday afternoon. In case people might have missed it, your predictions for tomorrow.
I'm going to go with FAMU. I think FAMU is going to finally get it done in terms of bringing all the culmination for Coach Willie Simmons. All the Rattlers will be able to throw up their snake signs and strike again, driving Charles crazy because they were able to get it done, poking out the Jackson State people and twisting in the wind with the SWAC and saying, we are here.
Yeah, that's going to be a long, long day if FAMU gets it done. I ain't going to lie about that.
Let me hear it. Let me hear it roll off your tongue, Charles. Who's going to win tomorrow?
I think Florida A&M is going to win tomorrow. We're going to be one SWAC on this Saturday, so I'm expecting Florida A&M to get it done, but I do not want to hear strike.
Is that more about the fans of Coach Willie Simmons?
It's absolutely the fans. Oh my gosh, like FAMU fans and Jackson State fans are first cousins. they get after each other. So, yeah.
Southern's the third cousin.
Southern's third cousin. Yeah, you let them three go at each other. Lord have mercy.
Oh my God, guys! Thank you so much for hanging out. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Tyler.
Make sure you get some snacks back there.
My pleasure.
No protein.
Thank you for having us.
Lots of carbohydrates and sugar out there.
I'll get the water.
Yeah.
I got enough of the rest of it.
Doc, I've gained about 10 pounds this year. The hell, man!
I see you with your little workout videos. It's not working as much.
You start knocking on 50, you work out all you want to, boy.
Man, it's a fight.
Metabolism.
Yeah.
Got a little ball spot
It's
coming
real.
up here.
It's real.
The struggle
That's
is
why
real.
I'm letting this hold as long as it can.
Don't cut it. It might not come back.
Right, exactly.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Sure thing.
Inside the HBCU Sports Lab is Charles Bishop, is Dr. Kinata Caville. The show continues. All right, bullpen. Bring them on, Miles. Just come on right here. Come on, Miles. We don't have to see them leave the set. There you go, Miles. We're trying to have a little savoir faire here. Let's check out some of the comments. Danielle Cooper is hanging out. Appreciate that, Mr. Cooper. We got some of those Rattlers in there, Chuck, as you leave. Nah Saint said strike, and strike again. I think that was for you, Chuck. On your way out the door, you got a FAMU Rattler giving you the business. All right. Look at here. Look at here. The Light Skin Coalition is taking over. Come on. Come on. We got our guy. I call him Waffles.
Man, how long are you going to hang on to this story,
It's
Tyler?
the greatest story I've ever heard.
It's really not that great of a
Wait a
story.
minute, I gotta hear it. I've
You
never
haven't heard it. I'm surprised
What?
Tyler ain't
Come
told you.
Come on. Introduce yourselves to the audience.
How y'all doing? I'm Dylan Matthews. I am a host and executive producer on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game.
Here in Atlanta.
#1 sports radio station in the city of Atlanta. So y'all make sure y'all stay tapped in. I'm host of the Hometown Take every morning, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. So y'all make sure
Right there,
y'all
number 4. Talk to America.
y'all make sure y'all tune into that 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. Monday through Friday. And then I also am the executive producer of The Morning Shift from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. So y'all make sure y'all stay tapped in that as well. So I basically take over your whole morning if that's what you're into, if you're a morning person. So
And the part he left out of his resume, he's also Simone's boyfriend.
that's right. I'm also Simone's boyfriend.
Yeah,
So shout out to Simone Stanley.
That's why he hangs out here, because he has to keep an eye on Simone and everybody
I also
else.
cook a lot of waffles here.
No, here's the story. Here's what young people do. So Dylan's at the radio station. I wasn't there. I just heard it over the radio.
Yeah.
He put some waffles in the microwave. You know, you get hungry in the morning. You want some waffles. Dylan, how long did you leave the waffles in the microwave?
Probably until I noticed the smoke. Probably like at least 5-6 minutes.
notice the smoke.
Yeah, so 4 or 5 minutes too long, Sco.
Yeah, you know, waffles, what, a good 30, 45 seconds, maybe 60.
Yeah, maybe 60, but they got left in there way too long. And then I first started to smell said smoke, and then I looked up, and the studio, our bullpen area, was starting to fill with smoke. And then I went to the microwave, and the microwave was also filled with smoke, and the microwave smoke stains have still yet to come out of the microwave. So, yeah.
So he almost burned down the Great Atlanta Fire. He almost burned down his radio station there.
And then, of course, I tried my best to get rid of the smoke and the smell, but you can only do so much in a matter of minutes before everybody else arrives at the studio. Yeah. So then questions were asked. I had to obviously give my answer, and then the story kept getting passed down from show to show to show. And I basically got clowned the entire day about my mismanagement of waffles.
And that's why he will forever,
and Tolly still hangs on to the story.
Forever be waffles.
But he has to be good to keep his job.
Oh, yeah.
And halfway burn down the studio, you must be the man.
Oh, most definitely. My job security is perfectly fine. I could do that same thing again, and I'd still be good, Sco.
Nobody wants to get up at 4 a.m. Except for me. So there's that. We got Scoville Jenkins. Scoville has been behind the scenes on a lot of productions here at HBCU Gameday, directing. His son is doing a lot of that now. So we talk about Miles. This is Miles' father, Scoville Jenkins. So Sco hanging out.
Yes.
Fellas, thanks for jumping on with us. It's the Super Friends edition here of HBCU Gameday.
Thank you for having us on.
You do sports for a living.
I do.
I heard you this morning with Big Ticker on V103.
Yep.
What's the vibe in the city for the Celebration Bowl here in Atlanta?
I mean, it's a huge vibe. I mean, we talk about everything that's going on in the city. You talk about Winterfest happening. Obviously, the Falcons have a big game this Sunday, even though that's in Carolina. And then right up there, you talk about the Celebration Bowl, the Battle of the Bands, obviously a huge thing too. As a former, I don't know if you know this, Tolly, I was actually in marching band since
Really?
since 8th grade. I was in marching band. I did it in 8th grade, all through high school, and I did it 2 years in college too. So shout out to all my snare drums out there. But that's a huge thing as well. So I mean, it's a huge event. It's a prime time event in the city. Everybody knows about it, not just in the HBCU landscape, but everywhere it's being talked about. So it's a huge event.
And now you're doing television as well. Is there anything you don't do?
Make waffles.
He has retired.
Please, not
from that.
anymore.
All right, Scoville, you're a big sports fan. You love sports. Your son was a big-time tennis player. You understand leveraging exposure. You understand how things work on the other side of TV and both sides of them. What type of opportunity is this for HBCUs in a big city like Atlanta, big network like ABC, and all the eyeballs they'll have this weekend?
It's once again a way to continue to grow, thanks to somebody out in Colorado who helped put.
But be careful now; they're gonna come for you in the comments.
Well, you put a little
Come for
fire,
Sco.
you
Come for
put a
Sco.
little gas on the fire, and it went kaboom. All right, and now that the kaboom is there and people are actually looking and seeing all the talent, seeing all the possibilities of being a football school, a basketball school, a tennis school, whatever it is, the possibilities are there. And it's very exciting to me. I mean, it's almost like the birth of a new organization that's always been there. And it's always gonna be there. And now to get some good exposure on it, I'm excited about it. I can't, I'm glad I'm a part of it.
All right, we got FAMU. We got Howard. What are your predictions? You like to break the games down, Dylan. I know Simone gives you all the scoop at home.
She gives me the insight. She gives me the insight. From the insight that I have collected throughout this season and that I've collected here today, I'm going to have to go with the Rattlers. I'm going to have to go with FAMU. Even though I am deathly afraid of snakes, I think the Rattlers on the field are going to get the job done. So I'll have to go FAMU. I think Howard will put up a pretty good fight, but I'm going to have to go FAMU on this one.
Scoville, I've always looked at this as, this game is always better when you have big brands. Howard is a huge brand. FAMU is a huge brand. That's really going to open things up. You got the VP coming tomorrow. There's just going to be so many eyeballs.
Wait a minute. Kamala's coming tomorrow?
Yeah, she's a Howard alum. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Secret Service and the whole nine.
Big vice president.
They're going to be there.
Well, those are always a good thing, and it helps to continually build. And I just want to make sure people are watching, and which they will be because of the network that's got it, and continually to expose it, and gives everybody an opportunity to show what they can do for whatever level they're trying to do. One of the things that I used to always tell people when I was teaching school is that if you are a big-time athlete, it's not just going to the professional level. Usually when you're a big-time athlete, people want to know you. And therefore, you can work on your people skills to know the card dealers, to know the heads of the banks. And so then if you don't make a professional situation, you have the ability to network and possibly continually preach on what you went to college for, besides just being an athlete. So anytime you can have these kind of eyeballs on a situation like this, it's wonderful. There's enough in America to everybody can spread the wealth and have a little fun, make a little money on it as well.
All right, Scoville, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to go get Simone.
Yes, sir.
Because I've just got to. America needs to see the tension.
Ain't no tension.
Come on, no.
Ain't no tension.
I talk to you guys off air. Simone is always giving you a hard time. Don't be afraid.
And I give her a hard time right back.
Don't be afraid.
I'm never afraid.
She's coming.
I'm never
She's
afraid.
coming.
See, the narrative Tolly is going to try to spin here. He's going to try and pull the,
we about to
find out
who the boss is.
We about to find out who the boss is. We are a unit. We are a team. We are a duo.
Okay. All right, what's up, Simone?
Well, first I want to read y'all a comment because I noticed Tolly stopped reading the comments when one came.
Look, why you got to do that? Miles, why you got to do all that? I mean, are you a goose? What is going on?
I'm trying to capture your attention, like
okay,
attention, capture.
With the
You know what I'm
Christmas
saying?
nails, you got to notice the holiday nails.
Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, someone in the comments said, "Oh, he got Simone." Mind you, "Oh" is in all caps. Let me find out something like that with the salute. So I didn't know I was a catch, but
Oh, you're definitely a catch for sure.
okay.
All right, look, I'm old enough to be both of you all's daddy, so I will abstain from. I'll just let Dylan handle all that right there. So look, what is life like at home for two sports, big time sports people in Atlanta? Do y'all just talk about sports all the time?
Yep, pretty much.
Basically, we talk about
Y'all just like love and basketball.
Yeah, we talk about our respective fantasy football teams. We talk about our respective teams. I'm a Falcons fan. I think we all know. Do they know your allegiance? Okay, with the Eagles,
yes.
of course.
First
So,
lady.
yeah, we talk a lot of sports, but we do obviously get away from sports from time to time because I know personally when I get home in the afternoon or, late mornings, I'm usually contented out. And Simone's usually just getting into her grind when I get back. So I'm usually contented out.
Get up till
Just
about 10
waking
o'clock.
up.
So, Dylan, we had 11 o'clock press conference. 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
The first Celebration Bowl press conference, the one last week, not the one this week. 11 o'clock. Simone rolls in there about 11:10.
Well, he's late to everything too. So
Well, I'm not late to everything. I'm on time to my job now. And I'm on time to my rec basketball games. I'm on time to those. Every Tuesday.
All right, let's get into some football from Simone. Simone, you obviously cover HBCU sports with us throughout the year. FAMU Howard, what are you anticipating? There, you got on the green. No, that might be a giveaway.
This green is for, the Philadelphia Eagles. But anyways, I'm predicting FAMU to come in and win this game. Not that Howard doesn't have a chance, but pound for pound, FAMU is the better team on paper. But FAMU, usually the better team, sometimes isn't as hungry. And that's why we've seen upsets in the past, I feel like. Sometimes a better team can go to sleep and play down to their opponent. FAMU understands the assignment. FAMU is the better team, but they have pressure, and they've handled the pressure so well. This is a team that came into this season and was expected to be here. They were expected to be in the Celebration Bowl based off their talent, based off the way things looked in the SWAC, but they went into every game with a hunger and with a fire lit up under them. So I think that they understand tomorrow that they need to come away with a championship for FAMU football, for the FAMU fans to deem this a successful season. Arvon Wilson asked in the press conference today, he asked the players on the panel that included quarterback Jeremy Musa, do they feel the pressure from the FAMU fans that in order for this to be a success, it's not just them winning the SWAC East. It's not just them winning the SWAC championship game. It's not them just landing in Atlanta, and repping the colors around town. Do they understand that in order for this season to be successful to their fans, that they need to come away with a win? And they all consistently said, yes, we understand that. The main thing is the main thing, and that's winning the Celebration Bowl. I haven't seen a team so hungry to win, a team that I've been covering in a very long time. So I can see and hear the hunger in the players and in the coaches. They're laser focused. They're locked in. They want to finish the job.
All right, Dylan, you're out in these streets, man,
Yes.
and you cover all level of sports. You're not an HBCU sports reporter like me and Simone. And we've heard that when the game comes on ABC, only 30% of the audience is going to be black watching the game. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be a bigger landscape in terms of viewership.
Right.
What type of feedback have you? Are people outside of the normal people that would be talking about the Celebration Bowl? Is it a thing in Atlanta? Is it an attraction? Does it get buzz?
Almost definitely. It was brought up on, we talked about obviously my background at 92.9 The Game. Our very own Randy McMichael used to play tight end for the University of Georgia, Miami Dolphins as well. He gave a shout out to the Celebration Bowl, the Battle of the Bands, on his show with Andy Bunker as well today. So we're talking about it on our radio station. Big Tigger brought it up when I was on his show this morning as well too. He brought it up. So definitely it is hitting all the major markets, all the major shows. It is a big deal, not only in the HBCU space, but in the total Atlanta space, the sports space, the culture space. It is a huge deal for the city. It really is. Like, people are talking about it. There is buzz around it, and people have come out for it. You see people, not only HBCU people, but just people all over the space who are involved in sports and involved in this culture. They come out for this event. So it's not just an HBCU underground thing. Like, this is a pretty much national event. Like, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. So we're talking about it. Other people are talking about it. Like, it's not just HBCU game days hyping up the Celebration Bowl. And of course you can, I'm going to do what Sco did a little bit. You can attribute some of it to, prime time. But I think just how HBCUs have grown overall and how the coverage has grown overall too, and that's a salute to HBCU Gameday and what you all do as well. I think the way the coverage has grown too, that's helped the sport and just the culture and HBCUs in general grow as well. So salute to y'all as well.
All right, thank you, sir. I want to have a little fun here. I want you to ask Simone a question, and I want Simone to ask you a question.
Oh my goodness!
All right, Simone. I'm gonna go
have
very.
A question?
Yes, I have a question.
Did he before I was set? He gave you a question.
He didn't prep me. I work in radio. I can go off the cuff.
I'm thoroughly confused. Ask a question about what?
I'm gonna ask you a question.
For dinner?
I'm gonna ask you a
he
question
said
about
ask
the game.
a question.
I'm gonna ask you a question about the game. That's what we're talking. It's a
because
a
Tolly's
friend.
Look how he's dying laughing. Please.
Because
please
this is
in
what
on
he
Tolly.
wanted.
He
knew that when he started to go off the cuff, you with having to be so organized and detailed with everything, he knew you would get a little flustered.
So y'all did talk about this.
No, we did not talk about this at all. This is all completely off the cuff.
Go
Me
ahead.
being a
Ask
radio
the question.
guy, I can go off the cuff and I can roll with the punches. You need you need more organization. See, you need to roll with the punches. It's okay.
Ask the question,
All right,
please.
all right. The question is, if you had to give me one deciding factor, one key to the game. Like I said, I'm gonna be basic. If you had to give me one key to the game for the Celebration Bowl tomorrow, what is it? Don't fold now. Come on.
I'm not folded. I just was throwing off because he like asked a question.
Tolly, know I'm good for it.
I think the key, we talked earlier this week on HBCU Gameday, I think the key is going to be up front. Can the Howard Bison, they really get things going through their running game? They have a running back trio that can really get it going. That sets things up for their quarterback, Quentin Williams. FAMU, obviously known for their defense and specifically their defensive line. They've only allowed an average of 95 rushing yards per game. That was number one and best in the SWAC. So they've shown that they can, stop the run, and that obviously frustrates offenses. So I feel like that's going to be the key. Can Howard break through their FAMU defensive line? It was no team in the SWAC was really able to do it this year. And FAMU, can they shut down Howard's run game? I think it's going to come down to that.
See, I knew you was going to come with that knowledge. That's why I asked you that question. I knew you was going to be ready. I wasn't going to set you up for failure. Not on the live. I wasn't going to set you up for failure. I got you. All right, what's your question?
So my question is going to be around the battle of the band.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You're a
Right in my wheelhouse.
Drummer boy? Little drummer
Okay,
boy?
hold on. Hold the phone. Put some respect on what I used to do.
Hear my drum.
I was Nick Cannon before Nick Cannon, okay, with the snare drum, you dig? Put some
You was
respect
at the
on me.
game. I have no gifts to bring.
All right. Y'all see how she get when I get on here, she start acting
Excuse me.
totally different.
Big drummer boy. I'm trying to give you your kudos.
No, you didn't give me no cue. You said little drummer boy.
That's the song. It's Christmas time. I'm trying to keep it in the spirit.
Okay.
Anyway.
I play snare drum. Thank you very much.
Excuse me. Okay, let's talk about the band. So tonight, I
Yes.
think we're going to get more into the bands on this show, y'all. So make sure y'all stay tapped into the live. We're going to get more into the bands. We have a band expert coming on later. I'm not going to tell y'all his name, so y'all have to stay. But we're going to get a lot into the bands. The bands have been one of the major events.
For sure.
I hear a lot more people talking about the band event than the game in some spaces.
That's real.
So what should fans look out for when they, because, we hear our beat, we hear a song that we know, and, we vibe, we know this song.
Right.
But they're going to be critiqued by a panel of experts. What's some little things fans could look out for at the band competition?
So let me go ahead and give y'all a deep dive into how the marching band works, right? Okay. The couple things you need to look out for. Number one, the feet. Watch the feet. Is the marching on point? They do the high step in the HBCUs, and some other marching band spaces they roll their feet, but HBCUs they do it right. They hit the high step. So you got to make sure everybody's feet is in uniform. Everybody's feet is in unison, and they're rolling the same. So watch out for the feet. Number two, you also have to watch out for the formations. Now, depending on where you're sitting, if you're sitting a little bit lower, if you're on the sidelines, you're not going to really be able to peep the formations. But if you're sitting higher up, if you have a higher point of view, watch the formations. How clean do the formations look? Are the lines crispy? Can you make out what the formation is or what they're making? So watch out for that as well. And then number three, watch out for the drummers. The beat, the heartbeat, the soul of the band. And, anytime there's any sort of drum solos, anything like that, especially some snare drum solos, make sure y'all look out for that, and then y'all clap it up for them. Also, too, I got to give love to the bass drummers when they do their, bass drum rolls and where they go, you got to watch out for that, too.
They go what?
Because that's hard to do. It's harder to do than you think. I was in it. I was in the trenches with them. It's tough.
But that's a good point because, when we go to games, we want to be on the floor. We want to be floor side, lower level seats. But for the band competition, it's probably better to be in the 300
you want to be up
level.
high. Yeah, for sure. So you can see the formations. Yeah.
Right.
I think we have a guy in the bullpen that will voice his opinion on shooting the band and the people that get in his way. We might just give him the floor to really get that off his chest because it has been a thing all season long. Guys, thank you so much. Simone, I want you to stay because our next guest gave you a lot of props today. So I want him to be able to give you those same props on camera to America. I love what you guys, seriously. you're like my, if I would have started early in life, you're like my two kids here. But
You would adopt us, Tyler?
Oh, speaking of your kids, Kendall.
did you see her do the
Yes, Kendall. That was
That was
cute.
good. I heard she played the video for me. She was very good.
Yeah.
Asked some I knew a couple of
She
the answers,
kept
not all
going
of them.
though.
But I
She
knew,
kept going. Like I
I knew
thought he
some of
was
the
getting the
questions.
answers right because she didn't stop. She kept.
Oh,
going.
that's how their game
That's how
works.
they do it?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I love seeing you guys together. Your kind of Gina Martin vibe is really cool.
appreciate you, Tyler.
Thank you, brother.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Yes,
And
sir.
Dylan, we even put Dylan to work every once in a while.
Hey, I do what I can.
Yeah, so he is the man. It reminds me of a young Tyler Card there. Before my hair got thin and gray. All right, we got another guest coming in. He's not a guest. He's our homeboy. Let's make sure. Does he look good
Head
on camera?
honcho.
Does he look good on camera? He's a little taller than Steve was there in the middle. We don't have to. There he is. There he is. He's looking good. It's Vaughn Wilson.
What's up, brother?
FAMU's finest. All-American punter. I don't know if he was All-American. He was really good. Were you All-American? You
We'll
were
roll with it.
twice. Don't play. Don't
Sheridan.
play with Vaughn.
Not to play with
Don't
Sheridan.
play. Don't play with Vaughn. But he covers all things Florida for us at HBCU Game Day. We talk all the time. We don't ever get to see each other.
I know, it's just amazing. I just when Steven came down for the SWAC championship, I was like excited because we work together, but we just never get to see each other.
All right, we were virtual before COVID. We set the
Right.
stage for all things virtual. All right, so you are a FAMU man. Everybody knows that. Graduated from there, played there. You cover them all the time. How tough of a matchup is this going to be with Howard?
It's going to be an extremely tough matchup. What I've seen from the team and from Coach Simmons is they aren't taking Howard for granted at all. At no turn is this team taking what they've done in the past and saying, "Hey, we're 11-1 and we're better than Howard." You know, they've been saying we have to go beat Howard. Howard is a good team, and that is a recipe for winning. Sometimes I think what has happened to some SWAC teams in the past is that they've said, "Hey, we're the better squad," and didn't go out and earn it in the Celebration Bowl. And John Grant's not just going to hand that trophy over. You're going to have to go win it. You're going to have to go take it.
Absolutely.
So we talked in the press conference today, and like you said, FAMU is a team that's coming to this game with a better roster, but they're also coming in with the hunger. And you actually asked them that question today, how important it is for them to win this game, take the trophy back to FAMU. Why do you feel like this is the year they have to finish and close it out?
And you saw it for yourself. You know, normally when you ask players a question, none of them want to answer it. They'll wait till somebody. They literally jumped at the question.
Well, because you were asking, they couldn't wait to get a question asked by Vaughn.
well, I basically put it this way. The question was, you've only lost one game during the season. You won the Florida Classic. You got that monkey off your back. You won the SWAC championship. That's history making. But in a lot of realms of the Rattler Nation, it would be a failure without the Celebration Bowl title. It would be incomplete. It would leave a sour taste in people's mouth. And they all understood the assignment. They really, that was one of the few questions that all three didn't have to fight to answer. Isaiah Major, that was the only question, if you notice, that he jumped line on. He was ready to answer that one. He was like, yeah, we know. But it's kind of a full circle thing. When Coach Willie Simmons got to FAMU, there's no secret. The field house was not in good shape. The field was not in good shape. The program itself was not in good shape. Dr. John Eason, who was the athletic director, he's like, I'm going to forego this committee thing that y'all do to pick coaches. I'm going to pick my coach.
I got my guy.
And you talk about that 7 to 10 days, he took no time. He literally went and interviewed one coach. He knew who he wanted. He knew that Coach Simmons was the guy for here. And it goes back to, finally told us, that it goes back to when John Eason was coaching, an assistant coach at the University of Georgia, and Willie was the quarterback at Clemson. And Clemson, Willie had that offense so potent as quarterback that Georgia had to go for a fourth down that really was controversial, but they barely made it. And so
they didn't want to give the ball back.
They didn't want to give it back to Simmons. He says we knew. Mark Rick said we could not stop him going back down the field. So their relationship started there. And he kind of kept an eye on Willie, and he knew that he was the guy from the area that understood the FAMU traditions. He was a smart guy, got recommendations from every coach that he had worked with that said, yes, we hate to lose him, but yes, he is a great guy. And so with that energy, the alumni and the boosters have jumped in like they never have before. The field house got redone. The turf field was added. The stadium on both sides was redone. Brand new jumbotron, brand new sound system, nutrition station for a football team. And now, after last year, with the embarrassment of year before last, there are 12 people working in the academics and compliance department.
Oh, and everybody wasn't cleared for
Yep.
that Carolina game.
Because there was one person doing all of those jobs. So that doesn't work well. If anybody knows, you got 100-something guys to keep track of. That doesn't work. It's always going to be a recipe. So while Coach Simmons has continued to escalate the team by winning, it has drawn support. And this is something that HBCUs have to understand. Willie Simmons probably could not win on that field, in that field house, with no nutrition station, without the kids being able to go to summer school. In the HBCU realm, we have to understand you get what you invest in. And what we're seeing now is a huge investment by the boosters, alumni, the administration, and I see FAMU working on one accord like I haven't seen maybe ever.
All right, Simone, I'm going to ask you this, and Vaughn, jump in if you want to. If FAMU shows out on ABC, they're going to be coming for Willie.
Even if they don't, shoot, they're coming for Willie regardless. Somebody's coming for Willie. Absolutely. It's funny because, I keep my ear to the Twitter streets. I keep my ear in the conversation. So the Jackson State fans, they've been trolling. It's a big rivalry, Jackson State and FAMU.
I have to stay away from that because it is toxic.
It's toxic.
Oh, my goodness.
And lately on Twitter, it's been wild. So the FAMU fans lately, when they want to come at Jackson, they talk about Dion leaving and all that. The Jackson State fans have been coming for FAMU lately saying, if y'all win or not, Willie's going to be gone. Anytime it was an opening, they're going to be like, Willie's gone, Willie's gone. So the Jackson fans have been trolling the FAMU fans saying, now that you have all this big success, that's going to come with your coach getting poached. Coach him getting poached. So that's what the streets are saying.
But Vaughn, if you don't have a coach that other people want.
If you got a coach that doesn't show up on anybody's list at the end of the year, do you really have a coach?
Exactly.
So he's a young guy. He's a brilliant guy. Everybody knows he does good with football. He's a great PR guy. Mm-hmm. Simone can ask him 5 questions that he won't give her anything that's a soundbite. We were
He'll
laughing.
talk for like 2 minutes straight. He'll give you a long answer, Tolly.
I don't know. When he talked about that distraction committee, that was a little bit of
That was, but he'll talk for like 2 minutes, so you think you're getting something, then at the end it's like, wait, he really didn't say anything. Like, nothing takeaway worthy.
He knows the game.
Right, he knows the game.
He understands the game.
He does. But that is something, to be expected when you have success at any level. He has one thing that's not talked about. He has had to replace coaches every year. They come grab the coaches, and obviously the hot commodity on the team now is a defensive coordinator that had your defense #1 in the FCS for a lot of the season. And he didn't say it, but I sense it. Mm-hmm. That he may be feeling. He said he hinted at it that that might be the next guy going, his defensive coordinator, and those are the types of things that for a coach to maintain his success, they might choose to move on, as not to try to continue to rebuild that much. I just don't know. I'm not saying that anybody's offered Ryan Smith anything. I'm not saying Coach Simmons is going anywhere. I'm just saying, realistic conversation, a coach that has University of Florida ties, FBS ties, and Ryan Smith, the defensive coordinator, that could pull this type of defense off this season, he's got to be on somebody's list.
So are you sticking with us? If Willie goes, are you going with Willie or are you staying with Game Day? Because we know you and Willie, y'all dogs. Y'all
You're
tight.
going to be Uncle Neely, too.
Right. Are you leaving? You going to take me and Tolly with you? We'll do a little interviews for you. We'll host a little Willie Simmons show or something.
No, my heart is in HBCU Game Day. You know, if I can get up on a Saturday, which was supposed to be an off day, and run up to Thomasville to cover, you know, Florida Memorial versus Thomas, you know, it's just in your DNA. It's not something that we assigned. It kind of went under the radar. But I was like, hey, you know, there's a game up here in Thomasville, 30 miles from Tallahassee. We got to get it, you know, covered. It's that important to me. You know, one of the most exciting games I went to this year was that Albany State Edward Waters game. Was so lit to the point where, you know, the last touchdown was scored by Edward Waters with seconds remaining in the game. It was so amazing that I was able to interview the president of the university with the head coach, the president of the university.
Vaughn will get some people together.
Right.
Vaughn's post games.
So that's fun to me. That's fun to me. Then I get to take jabs at Brian Jenkins anytime I go to Edward Waters. You know, that makes it all the more fun. And then, of course, in the Florida Classic, you know, you get to see Shine Wyatt. I mean, come on. Before there was Prime, there was Shine. Everybody knows that. Shine was it.
Shine time.
Shine was it. Shine, it was November 18th, and he had on all white at the Florida Classic.
Rules do not apply.
Right.
They do not apply to Shine. Everybody knows they do not apply to Shine.
Let's jump in the comments here because we got a whole sidebar conversation going. Lorenzo Johnson says, I love the show. Thank you, Lorenzo.
Thank you, Lorenzo.
But he says they're betting on FAMU. They're not giving Howard a chance, but we will leave them crying at halftime. Look, Lorenzo, I just asked people who they think is going to win. And, you know, just a lot of people said FAMU. That's
Someone also said Tolly slid a question under the table.
I slid a question.
Remember when we were doing the question? You said ask her a question.
I'm innocent, America. I am innocent. But Vaughn, we talked about this with Dr. Caville and Chuck. The game is so different, man. Like, it's just like little bursts and increments of action. Then it's the in-house production, everything that happens inside the Mercedes-Benz. It's a television show, you know, disguised as a football game. It's really unlike anything either team will have participated in this year, just from the structure. So it's a little harder to build momentum. It's a little easier to get, you know, off the pace and tempo that you want to play.
Absolutely. And then, you know, even as a player, you say you're tunnel visioned to that field, but when you come off the field, you're looking around and seeing what's going on. And last year at the Celebration Bowl, I was just really amazed at the number of HBCUs that are here, wearing their gear, just every HBCU, and it was just amazing. It's just, you know, there are a lot of people that says HBCUs should prepare to be in the FCS playoffs. Why? Why do we need the FCS playoffs to validate us? We're validating ourselves. The FCS playoffs, I've been to those.
Comment. Keep talking. Let me check the comments.
I've been to the FCS playoffs games. They're dry. There's nobody at the games.
Say it again.
There's no concerts and parties around it. None of that. And you don't make any money. Mm-hmm. The schools decided, and the schools, the chancellors and presidents, they actually direct the conference. You have commissioners, but the decisions really are made by the presidents and chancellors. And they decided we would like to have our own championship in Division I, bring money to our schools, bring a platform of unprecedented publicity to promote these schools. Let's just say this. For a few years, North Carolina A&T was the #1 public HBCU. What does that align with? Tariq Cohen, Rod Broadway, amazing Celebration Bowls. When that went down, they left and left conferences with the rise that FAMU was already on their tail. But it shot past North Carolina A&T. So when people tell me sports aren't important, look at how those line up. Look at how North Carolina A&T's academic profile was at its height when their football team and their athletic departments were doing well.
Data.
Now,
Data.
Florida A&M academics recruiting top students, it's like 4.0 almost to get in FAMU now. But their athletic teams have achieved, particularly football. We're not going to sugarcoat it, particularly football. Volleyball, cross country, golf team. These things are what attract students. So for all of those presidents and chancellors out there at HBCUs that think you're bigger than the football coach, be the president. But you need to support your football coach because they're some of your best recruiters.
Yup. Speak on it. We need to pass the plate.
No,
I knew it got real when he got that hand up.
I don't like to see presidents go, oh, athletics over there. Y'all gave me the mic now. I really think some schools should just drop athletics. Because year after year, they're hiring a coach. Coach comes in, they won't give them any resources, and they make it seem like it's the coach's fault. You can't win without resources. So if you're not going to win, don't play athletics. You got coaches' lives, student athletes' lives, the support staff's lives in your hands. If you're not going to support athletics, just drop it. Don't play like you want athletics. I think some schools need to look at that. Some HBCUs need to look at it.
Vaughn not playing with him today. Vaughn said some HBCUs, period.
Right.
Woo, Vaughn. Woo. Anything else you want to get off your chest? No. Okay, well, let me ask you this, because let's talk a little bit about the X's and O's, you know what I'm saying, of the game. Everybody knows the strength of the Rattlers starts up front on the defense.
Right.
What do you think the Rattlers' biggest weakness has been this year?
Sometimes there have been laxes in the defensive backfield. The defensive backs at times have been kind of lax, and you see these big plays come out of nowhere. Everybody thought with the All-American that transferred out of FAM in the transfer portal. Well, let me tell you, I'll be the first to say it. That line stepped up. Gentle Hunt and those guys on the edge, Anthony Dunn Jr., they put such pressure on defenders that it made it a little easier for the defensive backs because the quarterbacks had to make quick decisions, and you don't have to guard the receiver as long. Then you got people like Isaiah Major coming up on run support, as well as being able to, he got that great interception and carried the.
Oh, was he the one that?
Yeah, he's the one that got the interception, hurdled, and then took the guy in the end zone with it.
The crowd went crazy.
Yeah, when you've got guys like that are that hungry, that play is nothing but determination. It's talent, but it's determination. You could almost see his face through the helmet that he was determined that he was going to score. So those are the positives that have actually covered up for sometimes lapses in the defensive backfield.
First of all, I want to say shout out to Vaughn Wilson because he is our FAMU insider and he actually knows what he's talking about.
And we'll tell it. And we'll tell it.
And I'm going to say that because
some people in this space know everything and won't tell you. Nothing.
Yeah, that's true. They like to hold information. You know what I'm saying? But Vaughn, because you said earlier in the season when I believe his name was Kamari, transferred, you said we're going to be all right. I've been at practice. I've been at training camp. I've seen the depth on the D-line. You said that. I remember you said that on game day. You told FAMU fans, don't panic. Willie Simmons, he recruited for that, and it showed up. The guys that you said stepped up. But you guys were just talking about Isaiah Major. You were talking to him today after the press conference, and, he was soaking everything all in, and you were saying to him, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Can you share a little bit about what it is about him that has you so proud this year?
Although I've played neutral a lot, and I think I do a good job of it, being neutral in my reporting when it calls for that. There's no secret that I'm a Rattler. I was a baby Rattler.
Really?
I went to.
Really?
I went
we
to.
would have never known.
I went to FAMU High School. That's how far it goes back. And so, what I like to do is people like Isaiah, especially. I always congratulate the guys. But especially transfers, I say, thank you for coming to FAMU. Probably every single one I've said, thank you for coming to FAMU. Lord, you don't want to hear what Marcus Riley said. We're going to bleep it out, but he said, I should have
Well, we live. We live.
I should have blanking been to FAMU.
Oh, okay. I thought you
He,
really
he
gonna
was shaking
drop
his head like,
He said we gonna bleep it out like we not live.
no, I'm not going to say what he said, but, I should have been to FAMU. And that tells me that the student athlete experience at FAMU has reached. Jeremy Musa the same way. Oh, my God, I wouldn't trade this for anything in the world when I told him. So when I told Isaiah Major, he was like, I'm just soaking it in. I'm ready to cap this off because I've had such a great time. And you could just see it in his eyes that he was just having a moment of not believing where he actually was. You're talking about a kid from Oklahoma who had to go to junior college route, and now he's the SWAC Defensive Player of the Year, getting ready to play for a national championship. You have to realize how amazing all those things are to line up. And I think he's realized, walking in that stadium, he's realized it's really about to happen.
Let's talk a little bit about. Let's just give some flowers to the Florida A&M media team, because we were talking today at the press conference how they roll deep. They're basically like a team themselves. You would think they're a position group,
right? Because
they're all like in uniform. You know how like the groups show up.
They walk in and set up. There's no crisscrossing. They know that this person goes to set up this backside of the room. With Simone and I had just got finished talking about them, and they walked in,
right,
came in and took position.
LeBron
all these
James
cameras
down,
right. LeBron's down. Josh Padilla has done an amazing job coming in as the director of athletic communications and digital content. The digital content is very important. Having served in that position before, fortunately, when I was there, digital content was just getting started, and we did a bit. But the younger energy, innovation, and understanding that Josh and his team have, for the fact that they are young but very talented. If you look, there's nothing they miss at a game. And like I say, you talk about commitment. You're talking about taking 6, 8 extra people to every game to cover it. That's a commitment from the athletic department to provide that, so that and the kids, some of our football players have said, other people said, man, they cover everything you do. Well, that's also a recruiting tool. It goes back to the soapbox I was standing on. You've got to invest in it if you want it to be great. And I also want to say for Howard, it's not easy to get to the Celebration Bowl at all. And what Coach Scott has done for that school and his message, I really like his message. His message is you can be smart and athletic. And I really like that, because I don't think Howard University has embraced that the whole time. I really don't. But
when they don't win, they like to remind you, oh, we're academics. We're not worried about athletics.
But I really like the fact that he says, hey, we can be athletic and academic, and they're doing a great job of it right now. We know just FAMU, this is almost the academic Celebration Bowl. This is definitely probably two of the highest ranked, where you got the number 1 public HBCU and the number 1 private. You can't get any higher than that. Highest ranked academically. So that just adds on to the ability that we can actually celebrate our HBCUs at the Celebration Bowl.
Let's jump in the comments again. But while we're handing out these flowers, shout out to Vaughn's wife, who allows him to hang out with us.
Right.
We take Vaughn away all the time. She's just beyond the camera there. Thank you so much, Mrs. Wilson.
Thank you, Miss Wilson.
She says we're
Are
welcome.
you going to do this couple like you did me?
No.
No.
That was just for you.
Oh, you ready?
But she ready.
Oh, she ready. Okay,
we might have to get them up here to talk about that Usher concert that they went to. Vaughn, Simone's doing her own conversation. In the comments, Daniel Cooper is talking about they want to rotate the bowl. They want to rotate the Celebration Bowl. Go to some different cities. You like it just Atlanta?
I just saw an executive from the Atlanta Falcons, and he just was telling me he happened to be a FAMU grad, Akil Blunt, who played with FAMU. He now works with the Atlanta Falcons. He said, man, the people at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the people from the Falcons are buzzing to have FAMU back in Atlanta. It has to be who wants you. You have to go to where you want it. You know, that discussion came up about FAMU in the Florida Classic against Bethune-Cookman. Should it rotate? But Orange County, City of Orlando, they have all shown with money that they want FAMU and Bethune to stay there. So, you know, I don't see why you would rotate it though.
Okay.
Atlanta's easy to fly into, and
Yeah.
you know, other places are not as easily accessible.
It's kind of centrally located.
It's
between
about
MEAC
as central,
and
yeah.
SWAC schools.
It's
So
about as centrally located as
as
you
a
can get.
Atlanta resident. No, don't move it. Don't move it. But we entertained you in the comments. All right, Vaughn, the real MVP of your household. Introduce us all to your wife here.
This is my wife, Thais, a graduate of FAMU
Hello.
School of Journalism and Graphic Communication, and she does some voiceover work for me, and she's very good at graphics, so I did a graphic, and she didn't like it, and I left it up on my computer. The next thing I know, I see she submitted it and put it in there, Vaughn wife's version. Of course, Wally goes in. You know, Wally's like, oh, really? His wife doing it? So that's who does the graphics? His wife, you know. So, no, I'm fortunate we have 2 children who are Rattlers. My daughter is a senior. My son is a sophomore. You know, just proud to be in Atlanta today.
Okay, Mrs. Wilson is not here to talk sports, but we do want to hear about the Usher concert.
The Usher concert.
Give us the details. You had been out working all year long. You knew you had to earn some of them brownie points. Honey, I've been on the road a lot covering FAMU, covering Bethune, covering Florida Memorial. So walk us through the process of how you guys ended up in Vegas with Usher.
Start with the planning process. I think everybody would love that.
I love it. Look at it.
The planning process.
There was no planning process.
Right. Our friend
was,
Marvin
let's
Dixon,
go.
she had kind of mentioned, but she didn't say she really wanted to go see Usher. Our friend Marvin Dixon, comedian Marvin Dixon, been on HBO Def Comedy Jam. Marvin comes and say, man, that Usher concert is the best concert in the world. Y'all got to go see the concert. I'm like, so then I could see the light go off in her eyes, and I was like, okay, let me figure out how between the Florida Classic, the SWAC Championship, and before the Celebration Bowl, how do we go see Usher in Las Vegas? And before Usher's last show, so that even moved the timeline. Right, it had to be before the SWAC Championship because he was ending in December. So we did a midweek trip to go see one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life. Usher is the real deal, and can't wait to see him do the Super Bowl. You know, Las Vegas does everything bigger. So
Yeah, it was huge.
How was the concert?
The concert was amazing. So Usher had texted me a couple of weeks before and was like, I heard your husband bought tickets. So why are you looking this way? You didn't want me to tell that side?
you want? Can I tell my part of the Usher show?
That's why you're here.
My analysis of the Usher show is he brought Magic City to Las Vegas.
Okay, yes. So it was definitely an homage to Atlanta's
Magic City Blue Flame.
Entertainment.
Yeah.
yes.
Sector.
And I've always wanted to go. My husband said he would take me. 25 years later, I finally went via the concert.
Were you nervous that Usher was going to say, you know, when Usher serenade your wife, now
He
it can create some
came.
problems.
Listen, we were sitting right in that section where he goes and causes all of those problems. And he came right up and he looked, and I was like, oh, Lord, so many marriages have been lost by Usher Raymond and so many problems. I don't need these problems, Usher. And I think his DJ distracted him.
Yeah.
Because
I feel like you should have took.
the
I feel like you should have took one for the team though, because we all would have came up.
what's the girl's
the way
name that
she
was
thinks.
there? Monet.
Victoria Monet was there.
She was there.
Yes.
So his DJ was like, hey, Usher, Victoria Monet is here. So that kind of threw him off.
He got distracted.
He got distracted and went over and got a Super Bowl. She brought him a Super Bowl jacket, and he went on about his business, and I could enjoy the rest of the show.
Oh, rest easily. Woo, close.
And then we came back the following day, and it was the game. Which game was this? The
SWAC championship.
The SWAC.
Back to work.
Yeah.
Right
it was
back
back to work.
Yeah, we had fun.
Before you guys go, and I know you want to enjoy a little bit of Atlanta before we work Vaughn to death. Florida Memorial. I know you are proud of the efforts of that team. You have covered them. You cover all things Florida for us here at HBCU Game Day. For their band to make it to the national, Battle of the Bands championship later tonight, right here in Atlanta, and they just started the band at COVID.
To see Florida Memorial restart their football program, and now that it's starting to flourish, and to start the band program, and now they are here at the national championship, that shows a great resurgence by, our South Florida, our southernmost HBCU. It's on the tip of Florida. I mean, it's all the way down there, but there is talent there. So there are football players there. So it's no surprise the football team came up, but there's also a lot of musical talent. FAMU's Marching 100 and Bethune-Cookman's Marching Wildcats all heavily recruit down in the area because they're just a lot of talented kids. And I think what has happened is Florida Memorial has just captured some of those kids in their own backyard. And the band has improved, and the football team is taking steps that I expect to see them, really, after seeing them this year. They are really on the cusp of being really special in AIA.
Yep. Kudos and shout outs to the program at Florida Memorial. It is Mr. and Mrs. Vaughn Wilson. Thank you guys so much for hanging out.
By the way, I asked Toriano Morgan if he could loan me some money because, he just got that 3-year extension at Edward Waters. The Florida high school football championships were all in Bragg Stadium.
Uh-huh.
So the coaches were able to step out of their offices and see all of that. But, of course, Alabama A&M and Edward Waters and several HBCUs were there in Tallahassee recruiting. I know some of them probably did not want to be back at Bragg Stadium. But, that was something big and a lot of talent there. So I just look for all of the HBCUs. I really love everything about HBCUs, all of them. There's an attachment. We did – for the Florida Classic this year, we were able to embed with both FAMU and Bethune's bands. That was quite an experience. But some things are so similar, even though those bands are similar. It's because you realize these are young black people trying to make their way on their lives, and you have to support that. There's no rivalry in that.
Right.
In what we do and what all of us who love HBC, there's no rivalry when it comes to that. So I thank you all for giving me the platform to be here. Everywhere we go, I hear people telling me, I saw you on HBCU Game Day, and we like what you all are doing. So for all of those who we see and we don't get a name, thank you. It gives us the motivation to stay up a little later.
A little ahead of me, but his energy is way ahead of me. I'm like, man, I got to stop slowing down. I got to speed up a little bit. All right, it is the Wilsons. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to come hang out with them. I got to get some more snacks out here. All right, let's get somebody. Steve, get back over here and get to work, man. Get back over here, Steve. The host, I want to go have a coffee break. We got our guy, our esteemed writer who works for SI, or we just got Kobe.
They are
who's our third leg here.
I think he clocked in for his AI bot. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right, come on, Kobe. Come on over here. We spread the love. All right, Kobe's our intern from Morehouse, and Kobe. Before you tell us about the game, you saw Howard up close and personal. They beat the brakes off of Morehouse. What has your experience been like here at HBCU Game Day? Hey, Kobe gets the double treatment. My wife is an adjunct professor at Morehouse. She teaches Kobe, and then he comes hangs out with me here at HBCU Game Day. So you get the entire Carr family experience. What has your time been like at Morehouse here in Atlanta, learning about mass media, communications, journalism, the whole nine?
Yeah. So we'll get to my picks on the game and everything later. I'm from Virginia though, so being in Atlanta has always been a great experience. I'm a senior, going into my second semester of senior year. It's great. I'm ready to graduate, man. But
no, you're not.
I'm ready. I'm ready to graduate and move on to post grad. I'll say that.
No, you're not.
I'll say that. Yeah. I mean, I think after you spend so much time in a place, you gotta move to another place.
Take it from an old guy. You not. But nah. It's not. But it's big shout out to you and everything that you're doing. As a student. Again, talk about it. You're here in Atlanta. Talk to us about what it's like here in Atlanta. What vibe the Celebration Bowl brings to it. Obviously, there's a lot of things that go on in Atlanta. There's a lot of big games and things like that. But talk to us really quick about what that's like for you.
Yeah. So I've spent. This is actually my second Celebration Bowl. So obviously I saw the Jackson State meltdown last year. But the Celebration Bowl is much bigger than just the game. I think we spoke on that a little bit. It's the game. It's the band of the year. It's all of the things in it. I think it brings a great sense of pride to the city. I think the city truly enjoys it. I think it's about pride. It's about uplifting our community, everything that we stand for. And so I just think. I'm really happy that we have two great teams, two storied programs coming to play this year with FAMU and Howard. Like I said, I'm from Virginia, so Howard was always something to be talked about. But two storied programs coming to play this year. We got great band matchups and everything. So yeah, I think it'll be great. It's already been a great week. Been a great week here at Game Day. But yeah.
Yeah, and you gave us that answer. That was good. But let's talk a little bit more about the energy in the room, because the last couple of years, we look at the Celebration Bowl. This is year 8. This is the 8th edition of it. I've been able to be at all 8 of them. Early on.
Started what, 2015?
Yeah, 2015. We missed 2020 for the pandemic. So, but yeah, it's been a great event from the very start. I think. A lot of people were kind of curious about how this was going to happen. Old school, we remember the Heritage Bowl, another previous game sort of like this, but it wasn't the MEAC and the SWAC champions. And so that ended up failing. People were wondering how this would work. ESPN got behind it, and I think, Tali, obviously having that monster behind it as far as the machine that they put behind it has really helped it. So, I think this game has grown by leaps and bounds, and obviously it's always been a great game, but I think we would be amiss, and I don't know if people are going to like it if they don't talk about how the last –
Isn't it remiss? Is it?
Reminisce, Go
ahead.
Well, yeah.
Same thing. Tomato.
It's not. He definitely probably, but I was rolling with it. Yeah. But yeah, Deion Sanders, Jackson State being here the last couple of years, they set attendance records. And I know just from, again, having come to this game in 2015, 2016, 2017, it was always big in the HBCU world. But I just remember back in 2021, right after Travis Hunter committed, it was a different energy. Like, I came into town, it's like everybody knew what was going on. Tali, what do you think about that?
You just said a lot there. Was that a question, or he just?
Well, what do you think about the energy around the Celebration Bowl? You've been here.
It is awesome. Look, there's not many stadiums like the Mercedes-Benz Stadium here in Atlanta. That is just an experience within itself. Look, you're not sitting outside in the elements. It's cold outside, but it's warm in the stadium. You got the natural light coming in there. You got the big video board at the top is like a 360-degree video board. So the game experience itself is just phenomenal. And then there's so many auxiliary events in Atlanta, and Atlanta has the bandwidth to support it. It has the people, it has the resources, the money, the exposure, the media. It is just a great location. It's a great event. The schools get paid. You're talking about, $1 million paydays here to make it to the Celebration Bowl. So it's a win for everybody. The playoffs, okay, the chasing a national championship amongst all the FCS sounds great, but go sit out there with 500 people in December. I'll let you guys do that.
I'll say, to your point, with the Jackson State and everything, I am a COVID baby. I graduated from high school during COVID. So, I didn't walk.
That's what COVID babies are if you graduated high school.
Well,
during
I guess the COVID high school graduate thing, I don't know.
thought COVID baby was.
I think there are two forms of it.
If your parents were at home
doing the thing.
I thought that was COVID baby.
I don't know. Two forms of it for sure. But no, I graduated from high school during COVID. I didn't have the prom. I didn't walk for graduation, all of the things, right? So I think you're right in the way that the city has been able to bounce back, especially with the Celebration Bowl helping that. But we do have to talk about the Jackson State and what they did for the Celebration Bowl.
Comments. I'm just gonna sit over here.
Go ahead and go through the comments. They don't like this Jackson State and Deion Sanders talk. But I think going back to the point that I was making earlier, with these two storied programs coming into the Celebration Bowl, I think that helps, right? Because we don't have that superstar in Deion Sanders here to bring the energy from what he did in the last 2 years back to the Celebration Bowl, having FAMU and Howard, two of the most, two more storied HBCU programs in HBCU memory. I think having those two schools playing in the Celebration Bowl, I think that helps tremendously.
Yeah. Let's jump in the comments. People are saying they're predicting a new attendance record for Saturday. Stephen, do you think we can have a record-breaking attendance this weekend?
Well, FAMU, it's going to depend on you. And that's no disrespect to the Howard folks. I'm sure the Bison are going to be out here in full force. Erica already told us. She did a cute little cheer.
We started the show with the Howard guests.
Yeah, you guys will have to catch us on the rewatch. If you see us on the rewatch, it'll make sense. But, but I think it's going to depend on FAMU. They always say that they brag different, right? That's their thing. We brag different. Well, the last 2 years, the bar has been raised attendance-wise. Jackson State, prior to them getting here, I think the biggest attendance was 35,000. That was the first game back in the old Georgia Dome. So in both of those last two times, it has approached 50,000 mark. So I think this is a great case, again, for people who like to say that, HBCUs were popping, and just because Deion Sanders left, nothing changed, nothing changed. I think tomorrow that's going to be a big indicator of how strong the brand is for HBCUs. And also today, I will say in the media press conference, and Tyler, you and I have been there the last couple of years, it's been wall to wall. This year, for the Friday news conference for the two teams, it was not quite the same.
A little thin, you say.
It was a bit thinner. So, it'll be interesting to see tomorrow. Again, the metrics that we always have in this game. First, John Grin and those guys are going to look at the ratings that are going to come out in a couple weeks. Usually this game is above a lot of bowl games. At one time, it was the first bowl game, which really helped it out a lot. So
now it's officially the second. There's another bowl game that kicks off 11 a.m. Celebration Bowl is 12. So.
Right, yeah. So it's
but on the first day of bowl season.
Right, first day of bowl season, ABC. So everybody and their mama got ABCs, So there's that. So they're going to look for that metric, and then they're also going to look at the metric of attendance. And so hopefully, everybody's been talking about how much this is going to be a movie. We got Kamala Harris. Who else knows who will show up on the sidelines. We will see what happens, but I think it's going to be very interesting to see what that attendance number is, the media numbers, and the ratings numbers to see how strong the brand continues to be.
Howard people are all over the world, right?
That's what
look, ABC is, you can watch that, I guess, all over the world in some form or fashion. It'll be interesting to see if there is a rise, not only in attendance, but that viewership as well, and see if, you can kind of look at some data points and say, oh, okay, this school and that school, and then there was, the ancillary effect of, boom, everything went up.
Yeah, it's almost like the Celebration Bowl has come the football version of what the CIAA was at its peak. There's the game, and then there's so many events that are starting to be built around it, and it's gained a lot of momentum recently, and you hope that it keeps that and maintains that. because the energy in the building last year was just amazing with the game that we had. Pretty much all the Celebration Bowls have actually been close. I think that helps, even down to the wire. So I'm looking forward to the energy that's going to be in the bins, and we're going to have to get there early because the VP is she's coming.
Yeah, that changes the way.
Changes the entry plan.
Simone likes to say they're going to be strict tomorrow.
Strict around here.
All right, it's the HBCU Game Day Super Show. We're going to come to you for about 2 hours today. We started at 2:30 on the East Coast. We're sitting at 4:20, so I think it's time to bring in the closer. We've had a lot of baseball references today, so Kobe and myself, we're going to go to the bullpen over here. We're gonna go talk to the manager, and we're going to walk back to the dugout. Actually, we're going to bring on Simone Stanley. Steve, you stay here. We're going to bring on Wilton Jackson, and I'm going to let those guys close out the show. I want to say goodbye to some of our guests who are hanging out in the lobby here. So come on, Simone. Come on, Simone. We've seen you. No dramatic entrance is needed. And Wilton Jackson, one of our early interns before his career took off. He's now at Sports Illustrated, but still does a lot of stuff with us weekly, except showing up on time. Wilton will make his way in here. He's literally back there writing an article right now. Yeah. Simone, somebody in the comments wanted to know if you were from Philly. No, Simone is from Jamestown,
First of
North
all,
Carolina.
stop lying on my name. Stop lying. I did see the comment. Thank you for inquiring. No, I'm not from the city of Philadelphia, but I am the first lady of Bird Gang.
I still got your Kleenex over there somewhere for you to cry your tears.
We not worried. Like the coach said, main thing. We worry about next week. We're not dwelling on the
Y'all
past.
did just pick up an HBCU legend, though, right?
Yeah, he ain't do nothing for us in the game, though.
You got to get acclimated.
He been playing all season long.
Give him a chance. Give him a chance. Give him a chance. All right, what's a win? What type of game, no matter who wins, will it be an overall win for HBCUs? Do we need to see two defenses going head-to-head? Do we need to see a shootout? Do we need to see a dramatic, kind of comeback? What type of, narrative of the game would you like to see tomorrow?
I think as a fan that has no skin in the game, like if I'm watching a game and I don't care who wins, I want to see a shootout. I want to see scoring. I want to see a lot of big offensive plays. Defensive games are great, but I feel like that's usually when you have some skin in the game. I want to see a shootout. I want to see some big plays. I want to see overtime. I want to see some crazy catches. I want to see some jukes. I want to see some ankles broken. I want to see some guys getting leaped on. All the highlights. We want to see that tomorrow. We don't want a 6-9 game. We don't want a field goal game. That's
the MEAC folks want that. They said they're purist over there.
Yeah, they want that because that means they're staying in the game.
Goodbye, America. Wilton is taking my spot. This has been a lot of fun. I'm going to put the kids in charge now.
Yeah. So we got the one and only Wilton Jackson. It's like, it's almost like we started the season like this.
We really did, except we're in different seats.
The strangest feeling of deja vu. So, again, Wilton Jackson, who happened to be a native of Jackson and Jackson State grad. So we got a lot of that going. So before the game on Saturday, and we talked about it earlier, we got the Band of the Year, inaugural Band of the Year. Jackson State, North Carolina A&T Blue and Gold Marching Machine. What are your thoughts as a former bandsman?
Now you have to make sure you clarify high school because some people start coming.
I was about to say, you was
like, were you marching?
Right, you was in the Blue and
Gold. No. But I'll say this: being in the band and being in the drum line in high school is big business. It's not a joke. Some people say well, if you're in the band, it's not. It's not. What's the word I'm looking for?
Band heads are like.
Choose your words careful.
They are the most particular people.
They are.
They are the most particular people in HBCU-dom. I mean, I would even say even more so than Greek letter organizations. I feel like it's very close.
I absolutely. And just more so than anything, when I look at these two bands, you talk about the Blue and Gold March Machine, the Sonny Boom of the South. Both are excellent bands. I can remember my first chance of looking at North Carolina A&T as a kid. I was 8 or 9 years old. It's when Jackson State played North Carolina A&T in the Georgia Dome, which doesn't exist anymore. But it was a great showing. And, like, as a person who, you know, music kind of runs in my family, it's nothing like seeing and watching a good band perform on the field. Like, yes, we know that bands can play well in the stands, which I love a good selection from the stands. But this is all about what happens on the field, from the band, the auxiliaries, the dance groups, the drum line. I'm interested to see what both schools do.
Do you think they got it right with Jackson and North Carolina A&T, and then on the D2 side we have Virginia State and Florida Memorial?
Simone puts me on the spot right away.
Do you think they had it right?
I think they do. I'm gonna say that. I'll say this. I know for sure they got Jackson State right, and I'll stand on that 1,000%. I'll stand on business with that for sure.
Period.
But I know, having talked to some outside people that are heavily involved and close to the HBCU band space, I can assure you Southern, Grambling, Alabama State, there was some people not too happy with some of those rankings.
So you said you believe Jackson State is right. Do you think North Carolina A&T is right?
I do, after going back and watching some of the performances on both sides. I do. Because at first I was like, okay, well, you know, in terms of just looking at things from the stands, I'm like, okay, well, this might be a little biased. But going back and looking at the field shows themselves, I think they got it right.
Yeah, and it's all about the field shows. I got a chance to talk to, get the inside scoop on the folks who are the chairs, the co-chairs, the band director emeritus at FAMU and Jackson State were co-chairs. They had to keep the judges quiet. I do think tonight they are going to reveal who the judges are, because let's be honest, you know how y'all do. You know, if they let the judges know let y'all know who the judges were, man, y'all would be giving, you know, it would be from giving them hell to bribes. Let's just be honest, you know, because everybody wants to be here. Everybody wants that spotlight. We all just had, like, what is it, 21st, 22nd anniversary of the movie Drumline coming out. So it's a place to be.
Shout out to Drumline,
yeah,
man.
shout out to Drumline. Nick Cannon, you know, we invited him to the studio. You know, him and the kids, you know, they're a little bit busy. So, but anyway, band of the year, and like you say, I think it's great again for the D2 bands to be here. I remember Simone when they announced it. We were at the MEAC SWAC, and you asked about them, why they felt to include the D2 bands, and I think that's great from somebody who comes to a school from a D2 school, Winston-Salem State University. If you didn't know, and we got this close, dog. It hurt. We're 7 points away, but you know, I think it's great to have the D2 bands. What do you think?
So you weren't sending in any bribes for Winston-Salem State, because y'all were ranked like what, 8, and then y'all went top 1. I think you put in a bribe.
Look, they had a slow September, and once they got it in the gear, but they came up a little bit short. So the Trojan Explosion will have to represent the CIAA in Atlanta. So with no doubt about them, Dr. Whitehead is their band director. I think it was a cool question. I guess I just happened to ask it about what will be the song that people will be playing in bands for like 25 years from now. And everybody gave their answer. I think that Taylor Whitehead said Neck. I think Earth, Wind and Fire was one as well.
Absolutely.
And then Luther Vandross. Would you care to add another?
Luther Vandross, maybe what, Never Too Much?
Yeah. Do you think there's a song that's being played now in the last 5 years that they'll be playing in 25 years? Or do you?
Oh, that's a good question. It's so I feel like it's so many to choose, but one thing about me, I don't always remember names of songs, but like when you hear them, it's like I expect, like when I go to see Jackson State play, I know one song I'm gonna hear every time We Came to Play. Like immediately, like once Star Spangled Banner's play, like We Came to Play. I Got 5 on it. Like they have to play I Got 5 on it. Now you talk about a song that's gonna be played. That one is gonna be played by Jackson State, Southern.
But even that
some
song
other
is like 25 years ago.
Exactly.
You know? It was interesting too. I know, Simone, you were there too. They were talking about how the music that's being played now, a lot of it, since it's computerized, some of it is harder to program, harder to write, and everything like that. So. You know,
That's a good point.
What do you think? What do you think about what's a band song that every time you hear it, you're like this is like, if I don't go to a game, I know you said you're not a band person, but you know, you just got used to hearing it.
Well, I feel like I'm so locked into like what's going on at halftime that I'm not really like.
You are a super gamer. You are. She's just the game. So I get it. But nah, it's been really fun talking about this, and appreciate everybody for tuning in to the show as we get ready to ride on into the sunset. We got the Band of the Year competition going to be going on in just a little bit, and then of course, the icing on the cake. Well, I guess it is the cake. The Celebration Bowl will be taking place tomorrow, Saturday. Howard University, Florida A&M. I think all the picks are in, all the projections in.
Are we gonna make band picks?
Why not? Go ahead.
So should we start with the expert and then go down, or how should we do it?
Roll with it.
Okay, let's go D2 first.
D2. I really love what Florida Memorial is doing. I really do, but I think I'm gonna take Virginia State. I really do, and I don't think it's gonna be a blowout or anything like that. But I think I'm gonna take Virginia State.
Yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna go with the CIAA team. Since they beat Winston-Salem State by 7 points, they better win. So, Trojan Explosion, it's on you, VSU.
I'm going to go with the Roar from Florida Memorial. We were at the press conference yesterday. They were saying Florida Memorial is, it's a smaller program. The band is still small, still upcoming and building. They said the lion is not the biggest animal in the jungle, but they are the loudest, they are the proudest, and their voice is heard far.
I think he said 5 miles.
So. Right, 5 miles. He gave us some specifics. So I expect to hear that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now, Division I.
Division I, I'm going with Jackson State. Absolutely. I think the Boom's going to perform exactly how they need to in terms of drills, the different segments that they'll have in the show. I think the drum lines are going to be solid. The J sets, the Jackson 5, I think it's going to all come together. I think they walk away with this one.
All right. So North Carolina A&T, those guys on East Market Street in East Greensboro, they do a lot of talking. They do a lot of barking. They didn't do a lot of winning football season this year, but I do think that there is going to be a victory for the blue and gold marching machine. They'll have something to make a bunch of noise about, not that they need anything, but I do think that they will get it done. Shout out to Golden Delight. I think Tariq Cohen and Golden Delight are the best things out of North Carolina A&T.
I'm definitely going with the blue and gold marching machine, loud and proud. Greensboro 336, you know what I'm saying, straight off of High Point Road. I'm going with the blue and gold marching machine.
Jamestown Aggies.
Girl, boy, don't try it. Y'all know I'm from 336, Sedgefield 6. Don't play with it. So I think all the noise, all the haters who've been, coming for the Aggies, saying they're not supposed to be here, or why are they representing? They're not in the HBCU conference. They've heard all the noise. And while their instruments are blasting through the bins, while those drums are
they make a lot of noise too.
The haters will be silent.
But I guess in my mind, I was thinking to myself, why was it such a big issue that they weren't in HBCU conference anymore?
Because
they're still in HBCU.
Haters.
Look,
don't start.
Look. I'm gonna be objective. Listen, he's a jilted lover. They were the MEACs. They were one of the cream of the crop of the MEAC, and people felt like they wanted to leave the country club to go to the other side of town. To the other country club. So, it is what it is, and but hey, they are an HBCU. They are an HBCU band. And a really good one. So, I think it's going to be a great competition anyway. I think the real winners are going to be the fans who are going to be there. And so I'm excited to see how it all goes down in the inaugural National Band of the Year.
So, Wilton, all season long, you have been our guy on HBCU Game Day. Shout out to you. Every week you were here breaking down matchups, the big matchups, the keys to the games, the highlight players that we need to watch out for. You were here since day one, since the MEAC SWAC Challenge all the way to the Celebration Bowl. Shout out to everyone who tuned in. We called it HBCU Football Friday Night.
Yes.
Now it's Saturday afternoon, the last game of the season. Can you let the fans know what to expect? from these two teams?
I think this is going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a really good game. When you're talking about a program in FAMU that has pretty much been dominant all season. We've sat up here in these exact same seats and talked about what things that they brought to the program, whether it was Jeremy Musa at quarterback, the running backs they have. You talk about the weapons they have at wide receiver, like in Dixon and Marcus Rattler. You talk about some of the most explosive players in the SWAC. But you also have to consider Howard and what they have in Quentin Williams, a strong, dominant offensive line. You also talk about 3 dominant running backs as well for Howard as well, and then also Casey Hawthorne. But in terms of who's going to win this game, I have.
Hold on. Wilson, you see? Hold on.
You gotta
You see,
gotta
I'm
come
setting
with
the
it, man.
stage.
Come on
Go
now.
ahead.
Come on now. Come on.
All right, because he ready to make his pick. But you guys know how we're going to do HBCU fashion. We have our HBCU Game Day neck pillows. This is how we started the season making picks for the Orange Blossom Classic. This is how we're going to have to close it out. You guys can shop this on the HBCU Game Day shop. Someone said on the chat earlier, are we going to have a pop-up at the tailgate? Thanks for asking, but we will not have a pop-up this year. But this is how we're going to make our picks. Game Day neck pillow for the Bison. Game Day neck pillow for the Rattlers. Steve, because I know you hot. Now you got to go last because you ready to make your pick. Hey, Steve, who you going with?
Well, look, man, I was here in Atlanta too then, and I started the season picking up the FAMU pillow, saying, guys, don't fumble it. You've been known to crumble. I did the whole crumbling thing, but I picked the Rattlers to win. And I'm ending the same way I started. Rattlers, pretty much the same message. It's yours, not the fumble. So that's what I got.
And how did that neck pillow feel? Comfy? It feel good?
Feels good. Yes. Go get yours.
Go get you one.
It was just only way it could feel better if it was red and white.
Wilton.
Yes. Simone.
Make your pick. Choose wisely, because we're talking about the Orange Blossom picks. Me and your picks wasn't picking, right?
We know Orange Blossom Classic. I went to Jackson State. I was a little biased. I get it. I'm going with the Rattlers. I think they're going to get this win. So please pass me this orange and green neck pillow.
Oh, that's going to be a meme.
All right.
I'm scared to make my pick.
You can't be scared.
Don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
Now, the last 2 years, I have picked the MEAC. If we have to roll the tape, let's roll it. Let's roll the tape. They don't have the tape. But y'all can go back. Last season, I picked North Carolina Central on this same pregame show. I think I'm going to go out on a limb today on game day. We've been doing a lot of talk about the Rattlers. But I'm just kidding. I'm picking the Rattlers.
She did all of that to pick the Rattlers.
Because something about me just couldn't grab that pillow. But it's a nice pillow. It's still fine.
Are we all sleeping on the Bison? Tune in tomorrow.
To find
Same
out.
bad time.
Right.
Same bad channel.
And we will be live tomorrow. As we close out today, we will be live tomorrow. HBCU Game Day will be live during the game. We'll have a great group of guys hosting a watch-along. It'll be Sylvester Sly Williams, Dwayne Walker, and our own Kobe Scales here hosting. So be here live tomorrow. It's going to be lit, okay? So mute your TVs and listen to us and watch the game, okay? So it's going to be lit. Be here tomorrow. But this super show, super HBCU Game Day Super Friends show, it was lit. It was lit.
We did it. It was Liddy in the city.
Yes,
Shout out to all of our guests that came through today.
Yes,
Shout out to Miles Jenkins holding it down. Listen to us ramble on here and hold it down as our executive producer today. Shout out to everyone who came by.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you so much, Wilton. For everyone else, Tolly, even though he gave me a hard time, thank you for that. Bye.